Good evening, I'm Haley Wilkes.
I'm Scott Dennis. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Our top story, it's been more than a year now since the Manatee County Jail started a program to help inmates battle addiction.
Now, a waiting list is growing for inmates to stay in the recovery pods there. But is it helping the area's fight against opioid addiction? ABC 7's Adam Cellini has an update.
Anthony Nemeth is starting a new chapter in his life. An opioid addiction drove him to try and rob a pharmacy for pills last February. A month later, he was accepted into the Manatee County Jail's new Recovery Pod program, where he thrived.
In the normal sense, in jail, those are your enemies. You know, you're usually against the guards and the deputies, but in there, it's really nice that you know they're on your side, you know that you feel supported, and you know that somebody cares in there.
Since Nemeth, more than 500 men and women have participated in the program, receiving around-the-clock counseling for over 90 days. Lieutenant Yvonne Ingersoll, who runs that program, says about 70% are truly investing in the treatment.
I was hoping for 100%, but 70% is pretty good because it takes some time for them to change their thinking.
While the stats on these recovery pods are still up in the air, staff has noticed that there is a growing accountability among many of the participants.
When they come back, the difference that we find is this time they're remorseful for reoffending or relapsing, and they want that help.
Since last year, the female pod has grown to 30 beds, now equal with the males. The number of volunteers has grown as well to around 200. Loving Hands Ministries volunteers on the inside, but also helps follow up after release.
It's like going to college. You don't see fruit right away, and when they get out of college, they don't always get high-paying jobs. But the information and the knowledge and the teachings are in there, and they will come back eventually.
Jane Roseborough of Centerstone Behavioral Clinic admires the change inside the jail, but says more needs to be done on the outside.
Once they leave, they're back in the same environment. So I think it's important that we're connecting them with the right resources and trying to break through any barriers.
Lieutenant Ingersoll says the problem is still unfunded and relies on volunteer organizations to follow up with participants once they are released. That's something she hopes will change in the next few years. More staff to make sure the path to sobriety can continue back in the real world.
A Bradenton mother found guilty of manslaughter in the death of her 4-year-old son learns her fate in court. Diana Marr will spend 20 years in prison, followed by 10 years probation. In February, a jury found Marr guilty of aggravated manslaughter by culpable negligence after her son Alexander was beat to death on his 4th birthday. Alexander was found dead inside the home where Marr lived with her boyfriend, Trevor Carterell. Autopsy results showed that Alexander suffered traumatic head and torso injuries. When the boy's body was found, his skull was fractured and he had a lacerated liver. Today, Marr's family and Marr herself took the stand to plead for the judge's sympathy.
I would like the court to please go lenient on her, because we've lost enough already. I'm going to lose my daughter too.
I only wish I knew then what I know now. I would still have my family in my life, and that monster would be going to prison instead of the loving mother who did everything else she could, knowing what she knew at the time to protect her kids.
Carterell was found guilty of culpable negligence in the case back in January. He's in prison and set to be released sometime next year.
A Sarasota man who intentionally set a pet rabbit on fire will spend 1 year behind bars. Manasseh Walker was found guilty of aggravated animal cruelty. Deputies say last June, the 23-year-old admitted to burning his girlfriend's rabbit, but claimed it was an accident. A veterinarian who examined Thumper said his injuries were not consistent with Walker's story. No one saw Walker set fire to the rabbit, but witnesses say he was bitten by the animal moments earlier. Fortunately, Thumper survived, but lost his ears. He now lives at the Wildlife Center of Venice.
A Manatee County school bus driver is cited for causing a crash this morning. Troopers say William Mitchell was stopped at the intersection of 32nd Avenue East and 5th Street East around 7 a.m. this morning. Troopers say Mitchell started turning onto 5th Street when it wasn't clear and hit a car. There were no students on the bus at the time, fortunately. Mitchell was cited for failing to yield from a stop sign. Construction on the new diverging diamond interchange at University Parkway and I-75 is moving right along. You can learn more about how exactly to navigate through it once it opens in a public workshop next week. The Florida Department of Transportation will hold 2 workshops on Tuesday, April 4th, one at 2 and the second will start at 5 p.m. During the meeting, state transportation workers will give an informative presentation on the project and explain how the new traffic pattern will be implemented. The workshops will take place at Everglades University on Lake Osprey Drive and Lakewood Ranch. Participants will also get an opportunity to ask the staff questions. Should be opening, we're hearing, maybe sometime in late April.
And I anticipate there may be a few issues like with roundabouts. I think this will probably be easier to navigate than a roundabout, but hopefully all goes well. Well, today, Bob, we kind of broke the streak on these really beautiful days.
Yeah, one issue I hope with that diverging diamond is that we start to lose the traffic along I-75. There's always been kind of a backup there every night on our traffic report, so hopefully that happens. Yeah, some rain around this morning. We expected some showers. It moved on through. We have some sunshine now. 78 degrees. Dew point is at 66. The same as the humidity. Winds out of the southwest at 11. The pressure 29.89 inches now. And although it is falling, we expect high pressure to build back in behind the system. You can see these clouds now basically not moving much further southward. And that means it's kind of pulled up stationary. We're seeing this west to southwesterly flow moving off to the northeast. And we may see some fog form tonight. Look, that fog could be rather thick in some areas to start things off tomorrow morning. Right now, the forecast, though, through this evening, not calling for any rainfall around, should be pleasant. Temperatures expected to be fairly warm, and it will be a little bit on the humid side, 69 degrees by 11 o'clock tonight. Well, much more on the weekend weather forecast in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Now to the latest in Washington. President Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, wants to testify in the Russia hearings, but he wants immunity. Also, we're learning more about who at the White House provided those secret documents to the House Intelligence Committee Chair, Devin Nunes. ABC's Lana Zak has the latest developments.
President Trump? ABC News can confirm that White House official Michael Ellis was involved in producing classified documents to House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes.
I'm not talking about anything.
The National Security Council lawyer previously worked for Congressman Nunes, who faces calls to resign or recuse himself from the House investigation into Russia. Protesters greeting Nunes in his home district.
We'll continue to investigate Russia. It's long been a focus of ours, and that hasn't stopped despite what you may see in the national media.
And at the White House today, Nunes' Democratic counterpart Adam Schiff accepted the administration's offer to review confidential documents, shaking hands with Ellis. Questions remain if this is the same information that was provided to Nunes, but White House spokesman Sean Spicer wouldn't answer the multitude of questions about how he received those documents.
It's not in our interest to talk about the process. What occurred between Chairman Nunes and coming here was both routine and proper.
Meanwhile, President Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, is asking for immunity in exchange for his testimony on Russia. The president weighing in on Twitter, writing Mike Flynn should ask for immunity in that this is a witch hunt, excuse for big election loss by media and Dems of historic proportion. But when asked if the president did indeed support Flynn's request for immunity, as he tweeted,
I'm not going to give Mike Flynn or anyone else legal advice from the podium, but I will tell you that the president's view is he should go up there, he should testify.
Nunes said today he has seen no evidence of collusion between the president and Russia. And when the White House was asked if they are concerned about Flynn's testimony being damaging to the president or the administration, just one word from Sean Spicer: nope. Lana Zak, ABC News, Washington.
President Donald Trump having to pay big bucks to settle lawsuits over his now defunct Trump University. A judge approving an agreement for Trump to pay $25 million. The judge's decision ends nearly 7 years of legal battles with customers who claimed they were misled by failed promises to teach success in real estate. The ruling settles 2 class action lawsuits and a civil lawsuit by New York's Attorney General. President Trump has vowed never to settle, but said after the election that he didn't have time for a trial, even though he believed he would have prevailed. Still to come in your Suncoast News, setting restrictions on developments on Longboat Key. What town commissioners have decided for new rules on how tall buildings can be.
And ABC 7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your weekend weather forecast. Plus, Hollywood Magic in Sarasota, a preview of the big opening night party for this year's Sarasota Film Festival. That's straight ahead.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
The Lax coming to the White Buffalo Saloon April 1st. Visit the WBSaloon.com.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
For years, I told everyone my Craftmatic adjustable bed was the greatest until I got the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has an adjustable pillow feature that's awesome. You're gonna want one too when you see how little they cost.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less, featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest, bedside power plugs, underbed night lights, and more. Available in all mattress types with optional heat and soothing massage for as much as half the price of Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables. Enjoy temporary relief of low back pain, nighttime heartburn, mild arthritis. Adjust the rising pillow feature to help align your head, neck, and shoulders. See for yourself with our 30-day in-home trial. So call and price one today for less, up to 50% less.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You gotta see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-237-0214. That's 1-800-237-0214. Call 1-800-237-0214. Call now.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Big names in the movie industry from around the world are on the Suncoast for the highly anticipated Sarasota Film Festival.
More than 200 films are screened each year in Sarasota, and the big opening night kickoff party will soon get underway. ABC 7's Stephanie Roberts and Joey Panic are joining us live from the Sarasota Opera House on the red carpet. All the excitement getting underway, guys.
Hello. Yes, it is just getting underway here, and we're starting to see some people line up, some fabulous outfits out here as everyone on the Suncoast is dressed to the nines for the 19th annual Sarasota Film Festival. And it's an official red carpet, Joey.
Yes, and it's just about to start around 5:30, but you can see everyone's coming in. They have blocked off a 5 Points area because after tonight's premiere, the film festival officially kicks off today. There will be the big opening night party, which will be right here. And it's exciting. This movie that's starting tonight is Rory Kennedy's directorial documentary, Take Every Wave. We've heard a lot about this. It's about the life of Laird Hamilton. So what I like this year is that we're seeing a lot of, paddleboarding, water sports. There's also a specific focus on things that are very important to the Suncoast. There is a Veteran Filmmaking Academy. There is an entire panel about sustainability in Sarasota. So what I love is the festival, they know that you're going to see a film that you really like, and you're going to go talk about it. And now they're trying to kind of help curate some of that conversation, which is really exciting this year.
A lot of panel discussions involved. It's not just films anymore, but of course it's also about the social life. Yeah. So everybody excited about the party this evening. There was a luncheon with Rory Kennedy earlier, and I know people are kind of keeping their eyes open for star sightings here as we start to see the action on the red carpet. So you'll be sure to want to keep an eye on all the different movies and times and discussions. It's all going on with the Sarasota Film Festival running until Sunday, April 9th. So we are enjoying a lovely evening downtown, and we're going to see if we can find a few celebrities to say hello to. Reporting live from Sarasota's red carpet. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie and Joey. We're hearing that they've already seen some interesting outfits and lots of fanfare out there. Always a fun night.
Yeah, always is. A fun week, too. I'll tell you, we have had some rain this morning. That rain moved out just in time for the big film festival.
Yeah.
And I tell you, we are looking at a great weekend, too, ahead with lots of sunshine back into it. Temperatures will stay warm, too. Look at that rain, clouds around this morning. Something we haven't had all week long, but now the sun is out and it looks like it's going to be a pleasant evening with temperatures generally staying warm. Now, we do have some clouds down in the South Sarasota County near Northport, Englewood. A warm weekend ahead, near record highs expected on Sunday. And then some rain. Again, more rain anticipated for us over the next week. And something we need. And looks like all that rain now is well down to our south. You can see some clearing behind it. Now, this front has really pulled up stationary just to our south, and we may see some overrunning. Also, the possibility of some fog forming with the southwesterly wind tonight. All that rain, again, starting to wind on down. Fort Myers still seeing some showers near Sanibel, southward off of Naples right now, but nothing to the north, and that's the way it will stay throughout the day tomorrow. We'll look for sunshine. Temperatures warming up into the upper 80s inland areas, looks like on Sunday. and we could see some 90-degree readings. The rainfall amounts were rather impressive in some areas. Now, generally about 1/4 of an inch, but up to 1/2 inch in Longboat Key and also near Bayshore Gardens. Look at this near South Venice, 7/10 of an inch. Not much inland, though. Most of the rain fell apart before it reached into Sebring and Lake Placid. Now, currently we have clear skies, just a few clouds. The dew point is at 66. It's fairly high, and winds out of the southwest at 11. The pressure 29.89 inches, and that has been bumped down because of this system. Now, as far as the forecast goes, Saturday, this is not rain. We are not anticipating any rainfall. That's leftover from yesterday. And satellite and radar picture showing lots of rainfall, though, into what looks like right now West Virginia, stretching up into Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio. It's mainly rainfall now, but some snow falling near Toronto, upstate New York, and to the west of that, there's some colder air starting to spill into over the northern plain states, but not terribly cold. The temperature of 44 in Minot. It's 33 in Chicago, 36 in Detroit, 34 in Cleveland. Temperatures much warmer into Washington, the nation's capital, now at 52. Same in Albuquerque. And Denver now at 29, Billings at 38 degrees. Now, here's a look at the forecast for boaters. Winds will be out of the northeast, switching around to the northwest at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be calming down a bit, right around 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. And as far as the water temperature goes, it's warm, 75 degrees, and we're expecting the beaches to get up to about 80 degrees tomorrow. UV index will be high at a 10. So load up on the sunscreen. Should be a great beach day for everyone, and looks as though we will see temperatures a little bit warmer on Sunday, though, as our winds switch around more to a southeasterly direction. Low tide upcoming at 11:10. A high tide will be at 5:20, and then another low tide at 9:57. So if you plan on fishing this weekend, for 9:57 will be the low tide, 3:35 will be the high tide. Sunset will be at 7:47. Should be a good one, and sunrise at 7:20. So tonight, fog could be a concern tomorrow morning. It will stick around a little longer than it did this morning. We will see partly cloudy skies, though, throughout much of the day. Warm temperatures for us tonight, 68 degrees. That's well above the average. And then for tomorrow, that fog burns off. Mostly sunny, a good beach day, high of 82 degrees. And look at this. We start to warm up and get near record high temperatures on Sunday with a high near 87 degrees. And then we will see an 85 high on Monday, but a good chance for rainfall on Tuesday. We could even see a thunderstorm or two. The rain chance at 50% on Tuesday with a 20% chance for thunderstorms on that day, so not all that high. And then we have a slight chance Wednesday and Thursday, and then another good chance on Friday, cooler temperatures to move in a week from today. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. In Suncoast Traffic Watch at this hour, we're seeing traffic moving very slowly on I-75. This is the northbound lanes from Clark Road north to Bee Ridge, all red on the map at this hour. Haley?
Thank you, Scott. In health news tonight, as more people are living longer with chronic conditions and surviving cancer, neurological disorders are on the rise, and they disproportionately affect older people. Now, a new study on that is out by the University of South Florida, Morsani College of Medicine in Tampa. It details the enormous cost of neurological diseases on the country. It shows the annual cost of the 9 most prevalent neurological disorders is nearly $800 billion. By 2030, $600 billion will be spent treating stroke and dementia alone. The study author has called on the federal government to provide more National Institutes of Health funding to develop treatments and cures for these conditions. A CDC report shows when someone uses a narcotic painkiller for just 1 day, he or she has only a 6% chance of still using that drug a year later. But when that prescription is for 8 days or more, the likelihood of the person using the drug a year later jumps to almost 14%. And using it for a month or more increases the chances of long-term opioid use to nearly 30%. The type of narcotic prescribed also indicated if someone would still be using that drug a year later. Extended-release drugs were more risky for long-term addiction. Coming up, an interstate inferno causes a traffic nightmare. How long it may be before this Atlanta highway is repaired. Plus, a creative way to test firefighters' reflexes, how dodgeball helps them train. That's straight ahead.
The human spirit's capacity to defy the odds, to push the envelope, is boundless.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing. But sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that. and with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Fun for the whole family. The 25th Annual Venice Shark's Tooth Festival, benefiting special athletes of Sarasota County. Fossil vendors, arts and crafts, food, children's games, and live entertainment. With headliners, the Gator Creek Band on Friday night, Rockin' Rogues, Kim Betts, Glass Onion, Kettle of Fish, Paisley Craze, and the Boogeymen. Admission $4. Children 12 and under free. Parking is free. The annual Venice Shark's Tooth Festival, April 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Venice Airport Festival grounds.
The Sarasota Film Festival is March 31st through April 9th, featuring independent films from around the world, panels, parties, and conversations with stars, all happening in downtown Sarasota.
You don't want to miss it, so get your festival guide and choose the films and events you want to attend.
Buy your tickets online, by phone, or at the Hollywood 20 box office. They go fast, so get them now.
So join us to see and be seen.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
The human spirit's capacity to defy the odds, to push the envelope, is boundless.
The Atlanta metro area facing a traffic nightmare tonight after a massive fire destroyed part of a major interstate. That fire happened during rush hour last night underneath an elevated section of heavily traveled Interstate 85. Flames shot into the air and enormous plumes of smoke could be seen for miles. The fire caused huge traffic delays and some drivers were forced to go right past that wall of fire. Around 7 o'clock, support structures finally gave way and a chunk of the interstate collapsed. A span of the highway roughly 75 to 100 feet long crashed to the ground below. The governor says the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
I do not know for sure. The speculation that I heard was that it was some PVC products that caught fire.
No one was hurt in the fire and collapse. Transportation officials say it will be weeks or months before that stretch of highway is repaired. An estimated 250,000 cars drive through that stretch of highway every day, and authorities warn that drivers should prepare for long commutes. Back-to-back manhole explosions in New York caused extensive damage to several buildings. A succession of 3 explosions and fires happened around 6:30 this morning. The force from the blast was so powerful it shattered glass windows in 3 buildings. The glass then rained onto the sidewalk near the Union Square subway station. 2 firefighters had minor injuries but are okay. City officials say the explosions may have been caused by rain sending leftover salt used to melt snow into underground areas where it then made contact with lines and sparked.
Check out this explosive video. Oregon's Department of Transportation had to show nature who's boss by blasting to smithereens this giant 200-ton boulder. The 12-foot rock and several other rock pieces had fallen onto a highway near the small town of Glide. This was on Thursday morning. The boulder was blocking traffic for several hours until the crew reduced it to rubble. Here's one way to spice up on-the-job training. Firefighters in Orland, California ran around the fire department fully suited in their gear for a friendly game of dodgeball with a little bit of a twist. They say getting active while wearing their equipment is good practice for regulating oxygen use in emergency situations. I always think about that, how fighting a fire is extremely difficult. Then you have all that gear on. Of course, it's protective, but it's also very heavy and hot.
Oh, yeah.
So that does take a lot of physical strength to be able to do that.
They have to be in shape
They
to
do.
that job.
They
and
definitely
all
do.
are.
They are. Still to come on your Suncoast News, restricting development on Longboat Key.
Town officials look at setting height limits on buildings, why they think it's necessary. That story coming up.
With a top prize of $10 million, the new $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery is your ticket to take on the world. The new $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery. One of our life-changing scratch-offs offering billions in cash prizes.
A unique celebration of a distinctive cultural gem in Sarasota. La Musica, the annual international festival of chamber music, with renowned musicians from 4 continents. April 3rd through April 12th at the Sarasota Opera House and at Sainer Pavilion. Buy your tickets now.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
The Sarasota Film Festival is in full swing. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we ask the program director about this year's Don't Miss movies. Plus, our beauty expert is here with a red carpet recap from the Hollywood-style weekend opening. We'll ask Dr. Jenny how to beat stress, plus the best April social events on the Suncoast, and Harry's Continental Kitchen is in our kitchen.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest to support your head, neck, and shoulders, bedside power plugs, under bed night lights, and more. So call and price one today for less. Up to 50% less than Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You gotta see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-774-8103. That's 1-800-774-8103. Call now.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who has taken Xarelto or Pradaxa. If you or a loved one took the blood thinner medication Xarelto or Pradaxa and was then hospitalized for internal bleeding, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious, even fatal internal bleeding. If you suffered a stroke, heart attack, or serious internal bleeding, or if a loved one died after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call us now. Our network of attorneys have years of experience fighting the big pharmaceutical companies and is ready to fight for you. Potential claims are being reviewed for users of Xarelto or Pradaxa who have suffered severe bleeding or hemorrhaging, stroke, or even death. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone.
Please call 800-928-6604. That is 800-928-6604.